Alright, so we're going to take a look at Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition multiclassing, but inside multiclassing, what happens if you have spellcasters? What happens if you have one spellcaster? What happens if you have two spellcasters? It's really easy once you really read it, and I think a lot of the confusion is where people just really don't read it. But all right, say you're going to be a fighter / cleric. All right, say your primary class is fighter, even though there's really nothing that signifies or declares a primary class in 5e. Say you're a level 1 fighter, and then you want to take level 1 cleric. All right, you'll be fighter, then you'll take your cleric, and then you'll get everything spellcasting for a level 1 cleric. Now, you'll get level 2 cleric, and if you decide to level up your cleric more and leave your fighter the same, or kind of like maybe level up fighter then level up cleric and kind of go back and forth with it, you know, you'll take everything for a cleric just static as you would be a normal cleric for that level. So if you're a 5th level fighter and a 5th level cleric, your total level will be 10, but everything that you have for your cleric will be based off of level 5. So you will not get, you know, all of the spell slots for a level 10 character. It doesn't work like that. You'll get whatever you have for 5th level. And I believe this is the multi-class here on the left-hand side, this matrix that has the spell slots per level of your character. I believe it's pretty much the same as what it would be for the traditional caster like the cleric. So at 5th level, you'll be able to cast 3rd level spells, but you'll have 4 first, 3 second, and 2 third. Now, if you were not 5 and 5, and if you were just a plain 10th level cleric, then obviously you'd have a lot more magic, and you'd be able to cast 5th level spells. But you know, seeing that you're multi-classed, you know, you're kind of hurting your whatever class that you're not taking to the max, then you're only going to be 4, 3, and 2. Now, however, you know, when you do have a single spellcasting class, if you're using cantrips, which is something that I really do not agree with, but if you are 10th level total between 5 levels of fighter, 5 levels of cleric, then you will take your total level and you will be able to cast that level cantrip. So a lot of the cantrips for cleric, for sorcerer, for wizard, druid, they upgrade. Like I know Firebolt, that upgrades. So you would get, I think, an upgrade at level 5 and maybe at 9 or something. I can't be 100% exact, but your total level does affect your cantrip upgrades. That's the only thing that it really affects. So 5 fighter, 5 cleric, you can only cast 5th level worth of spells. 3rd level, with 4 first, 3 second, 2 third. And then your cleric cantrips, like Sacred Flame, that'll be based off of being 10th level. So you'll do the damage for whatever 10th level that Sacred Flame would do. All right, so that's basically how you're going to do your spell casting for if you're multi-classed. If you are a one spell casting class, whether you're a cleric, sorcerer, warlock, wizard, whatever, and another class like fighter, barbarian, monk, anything like that doesn't have any magic. So now what happens if you want to take a class that has spellcasting and spellcasting? You can do that, and it kind of works the same way, but there's a little bit more fluff added to it. And that's what we're going to go over now. So say that you want to be, we'll say that you're 10th level again. Say you want to be a 5th level wizard and a 5th level cleric. All right. So you're 5 and 5. All right. You're 10th level. It still works the same way as if you were the fighter cleric, but now you're a wizard cleric, and you're a total of 10th because you're 5th level wizard, 5th level, 5th level wizard, 5th level cleric. So we're going to go over some of these rules now, and then as we go over the rules, and this is in Chapter 6 of the player's handbook. This is not in the basic rules. You have to have the player's handbook to have all of the optional stuff. So this is what happens. So spells known and spells prepared. This is where you determine what spells you know and can prepare for each class individually, as if you're a single classed member of that class. So if you're a Ranger 4-3, for example, and this is an example that they're giving you, you know the 3 first level Ranger spells based on your level in the Ranger class, because Rangers, they're considered a hybrid class, and they don't get the full extent of magic to say what their counterpart, the Druid, would get. So they're very restricted in magic. And multiclassing within spellcasters and multiclassing, it takes that into consideration. You know, being a hybrid class, you're considered a half caster. And if you go even that much further into being a specialized caster, like a Eldritch Knight, the fighter, or if a rogue arcane trickster, if you're one of those, then you would be considered a third caster. So it can get a little confusing. So we'll go back to the example. So the Ranger is 4, Wizard 3, and you're going to know your first level Ranger spells based on your level in the Ranger class. Now as your third level Wizard, you're going to know your 3 first level cantrips, and then you're going to get, and in your spell book it's going to contain 10 spells, because you started with 6, and then at level 2 you got 2 more spells, and then at level 3 you got 2 more spells on top of that. But remember, it has to be your Wizard class. All right, has to be your Wizard class. So this character here that is the example, the Ranger 4, Wizard 3, that is a level 7 character. It just takes both of the levels, adds them up, that's your total. So now it says if your intelligence is 16, you can prepare 6 wizard spells from your book, because your prepared spells goes off of your level, and then the modifier that you have for your primary, which would be intelligence for the wizard. So you can prepare 6 spells. Now each spell you know and prepare is associated with one of your classes, and you use the spellcasting ability of that class when you cast the spell. Similarly, a spellcasting focus, such as a holy symbol, can be used only for the spells that the class associated with that focus. So if you're, with your wizard, if you have your rod or your staff or your component pouch or whatever, it basically works the same way. It's really no other way to explain that. So if you're casting a Ranger spell, you got to go off of your I think Wisdom is the spellcasting stat for Ranger spells, and Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for Wizards. So if you're casting Magic Missile, obviously the Ranger doesn't get that. You would use your Intelligence if you had to, or we'll just pick a spell to be totally correct here. If you're using Firebolt, Firebolt is a cantrip. You'll use your Intelligence, okay? And if you're using something Ranger based, which would be Bark Skin or anything like that involves your Ranger score, you're going to use that. All right, so don't get the two messed up. Don't get them mixed up. But you can mix them up and you can mess them up too. So that's everything on spells known and spells prepared. Now, for spell slots, this is where a lot of people get confused. The spell slots this is pretty much by determining or adding up all of the levels in the Bard, Cleric, Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard classes. All right, and then here it talks about half your levels if you're the hybrids like the Paladin or the Ranger, and then here are the thirds that we talked about being a specialized Eldritch Knight or Arcane Trickster. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead and use this Ranger and 3 for the rest, for the example of the rest of this tutorial. But then afterwards, we'll go to the 5/5, Cleric Magic use, and we'll kind of do another one. So, it talks about the same thing as I just mentioned. Your Rangers and your Paladins are hybrids. They are counted as a half spellcaster. Your specialized Arcane Trickster Rogue and your Eldritch Knight Fighter, they're considered 1/3 casters. So you're going to divide by 3 or divide by 2 for the amount of spell slots that you're going to have. So you have to take that into consideration. All right. Now, what you do is you're going to take this total and determine your spell slots consulting the multi-class table. And if you have more than one spellcasting class, this table might give you spell slots of a level that is higher than the spells you know or can prepare, which is another huge thing that people get confused of. Now, you can use those spell slots, but you can only cast the lower level spells. You can upgrade them, basically. You can't, for instance, if now we're going to have to revert back to the 10th level wizard and cleric to give you a better example of this. Now, if you're 10-10, obviously you're both full casters, so you're not going to suffer from the half penalty or the third penalty for being one of the specialized casters. So at level 10, you'll take your total levels, add them, add your levels, and then bam, that's what you have. So 10th level, you'll have 4 first, 3 second, 3 third, 2 fourth, 3 fourth, and 2 fifth. So you'll have all these spells. But see, your 5th level cleric and your 5th level wizard, you can't cast 4th level spells and 5th level spells as a 5th level wizard or a 5th level cleric. The maximum that you can cast as a 5th level is 3rd level. So you're not going to waste these spell slots. You can just use these spell slots at a lower level. So you can take for instance your wizard. Okay, you get Fireball at level 3. I don't think I've ever met a wizard at level 3 that doesn't take Fireball as one of their 2 spells. I don't think I've ever met one in the 5th edition genre that didn't take Fireball. So we'll say that you took Fireball at level 5, which would have been 5 levels ago for your wizard. All right. Now, what you're going to do is you can use, if you want to cast that spell, sure, you can cast Fireball 3 times that day, but you can actually upgrade it and cast it as a level 4th spell, and you can cast it and upgrade it as a level 5th spell. So yes, you can upgrade them, even though you cannot choose spells from the 4th level pool, you cannot choose spells from the 5th level pool. You can, however, because of your combined level, your combined spellcaster level, you can upgrade them spell slots and cast a 4th level Fireball or a 5th level Fireball. So that's how you use your spell slots. Now, to go back to what we talked about, also your combined level is also it also depends on your cantrips. So Firebolt will also upgrade. You'll get another D10. I think Firebolt is a 1d8 or a 1d10. So by your level 10, you'll either do 2 or 3 dice, and then and any cantrip works like that. And as for the cleric, a perfect example of this is Cure Wounds or Healing Word. It works the same way. Obviously, you're not going to be able to, there's really no 4th or 5th level. That I can't remember off head. Let's see, 4th or 5th level. There may be some healing spells, but that's why Cure Wounds and Healing Word are so versatile at level 1, because of the whole upgrading of the spell slots. Usually in other editions there were, Cure Light Wounds, Cure Moderate Wounds, Cure Serious Wounds, 50 different cure spells. But in D&D 5, they eliminated all that and just said, Cure Wounds, Healing Word, we're done. And then you can update it or upgrade them. So, and this works, Cure Wounds works just like the Fireball example that I gave you. If you're casting a level 1 Cure Wounds, you can upgrade that to a 5th level spell slot, or you can upgrade that as a 4th level spell slot. You can do that. You can cast a 3rd level spell. If you're out of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level spell slots, if there's a 1st or 2nd level spell that you want to cast, use one of the higher level spell slots. You can always downgrade spell slots. You can't use higher ones unless you're actually going to upgrade the intensity of that damage. So, but anyways, now we'll go over Pact Magic. Pact Magic works like this. Pact Magic is for the Warlock. And it works the same way as if you have both the Spellcasting class feature, like we just talked about, and the Pact Magic, all right, from the Warlock class. You can use the spell slots that you gain from the Pact Magic feature to cast spells that you know, or spells that you have prepared for your other spellcasting classes. And you can take spell slots gained from the spellcasting feature to cast warlock slots. So it basically works hand to hand, toe to toe. You can do, you basically just, it really doesn't matter. If you have Pact Magic, you can cast it as regular spells. Regular spells you can cast as Pact Magic, as long as you have the spell slots. So that's how it works. So, but there you go. That's pretty much multi-classing spell levels. All right, that's everything. Now we'll go back to the fifth. I mean, I think we've touched on it a pretty good amount. We'll just kind of go over it one more time. All right, 5th level total. Your 5th level cleric, 5th level wizard. Your total level of a level 10 character. All right. Once again, you'll go to the level 10 multi-classing spells. The matrix here for spell slots per level, and you'll have all these spells. Of course, seeing that you're 5 and 5 for wizard and cleric, you can only cast a maximum of level 3 spells, but you can take any spell that can be upgraded, and you can use these spell slots for level 4 and level 5. You can upgrade. All right, piece of cake. Now for the hybrids, we'll say that you're level 10. Okay, we're going to say that you're, and it's rounded down for whatever, your hybrid for ranger or paladin, it's half rounded down. Or if you're a arcane trickster or a eldritch knight, it's 1/3 rounded down. So we'll say that you're level 10, but you're level 5 cleric and level 5 ranger. So for spellcasting, you're going to get 5 for being a cleric. So remember, your ranger is half divided by 2, half rounded down. So that means 5 rounded down divided by 2 is 2. So you're really technically called a 7th level spellcaster. Even though you're a 10th level character, you're going to be a 7th level spellcaster. And that is going to give you this line in the matrix. So for cleric and ranger spells, you'll have 4 first, 3 second, 3 third, 1 fourth. And don't forget, any ranger spells, you use your ranger ability, which I believe is wisdom, and for all of your cleric stuff, which is also wisdom, there you go. And then don't forget, you're only going to be able to cast basically first level. I think maybe a 2nd level ranger, 5th level ranger might be able to use 2nd level spells. Don't quote me on that 100%. But I think you can use 2nd level spells as a ranger by the time you're level 5. But by level 5 as a regular caster, the cleric, you'd be able to use those 3rd level spells. So just make sure you take that into consideration, and don't use over your spell level that you can cast. Don't use more spell slots than what you can. Remember to divide by 2 or divide by 3. And also your total level affects your cantrips. So there you go, everybody. Little confusing for the first time you may read it, second time you may read it, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to, leave a comment down below. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask them. Anyways, thank you again, guys. See you later.